Hey guys,
Hey,
what's
what's
going
going
on?
on?
It's another Comic Clone Force 99 podcast, number 4 if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
yeah, it's number four for sure.
Yeah, that's good.
So, yeah, we finished that section of Vader, and we're gonna be jumping into Mace Windu. There's a 5-part series about that. But before we do,
Why are we going? What made us decide that, by the way? Why that comic?
I think we were going to just like maybe do another Vader, but then we didn't want to feel stale,
Yeah.
and we decided to do a. This is our plan, at least. We'll see a dark side, a light side, a dark side, a light side, a dark side, a light side, as far as we can. So, but being honest, this one did take a turn more towards the dark side. So
that's a good point. I like that.
We will get into that.
I like that. So I know in the last podcast I was trying to figure out during that last Vader series when he was like kind of time shifting and it went into like a time warp. And I was like, I have no idea where this is at in the timeline, and I got a little upset about it. And I realized that maybe it's important if we kind of talked about what the timeline is and really how it works, because I have to Google it every time, and I'm like, oh yeah, what was it? So my Googlings brought me to the wiki page that talks about really the events in Star Wars Legends continually are typically dated in terms of BBY, which would be before the Battle of Yavin, or ABY, which is after the Battle of Yavin, which, if I'm not mistaken, is episode 6 in terms of movie.
Yeah.
And so if I were to look at this like big giant timeline right here of comics, this would be like the oldest listing of all of the comics that you can probably hopefully read through Marvel Unlimited, and basically they are on a timeline. And what's nice is just, when you're kind of picking storylines, it's nice to know where you're at in the timeline, because sometimes that portion of the timeline gets very muddy and there's a lot going on, and it's just helpful to know, where you're reading, so to speak. It doesn't always mean that issue is always going to be always just in that timeline. Some things flop all around, but as far as, the majority of it goes, it's in that wheelhouse. And the last item of note, I know it's real exciting for those listening, but the color chart on here, if you guys eventually do come into the video podcast, you'll see the links at the bottom. But more or less, you can Google that, off the top of your head, and you can find that stuff.
Yeah. So, that's really good to know. I always enjoy kind of to see where we're at. Cause you can kind of figure it out, like in the first few issues, but it's nice to know, oh, I'm here. So this one is, I believe, picks up or starts at the very end of the Battle of Geonosis for Mace Windu, and then kind of picks up from there. So right after episode 2.
Yeah, so that would have been like a BBY if I were to like find this Mace Windu one.
Yeah.
If I were to just do a keyword search of Mace, I should find it. Let's see what it comes up as. Yeah, this one says 22 BBY. So it was like, they claimed 22 years before that, 4th movie, which kind of makes sense because they always say it's like 20 years, with Luke kind of starting and whatever. So, yeah, kind of in the wheelhouse of what it seems like where you think it would be. So this would be the Jedi of the Republic, Mace Windu, and we're going to jump into issue number 1 right here, and we'll kind of go into it. But bottom line, Mace Windu is coming after that Battle of Geonosis, and the Jedi Council is trying to figure out what their next steps are, and they're going to get together and just kind of as they always do, they're going to have a conversation. I would like to note the very first slide where it kind of starts off had me really excited because there's like this Mandalorian looking character right here that I later discovered was meaningless to the overall story.
Yeah, well, I think that's Jango Fett.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes a ton of sense. So sorry.
Chops off his head.
He had his head there, and it really just threw me off.
I did have a quick note in the very first slide, like the writing that scrolls across the ticker.
Yeah.
So basically, they're just saying where they're trying to tell us where they're at, and they say Jedi Mace Windu fought on the front lines of the Battle of Geonosis, helping to secure victory for the Republic, but not without loss. Many Jedi fell. And this is my favorite part. Now, as the Clone War rages on, Windu and his fellow Jedi find themselves pulled away from their roles as peacekeepers to become warriors for the Republic.
I totally overlooked that foreshadowing.
Yeah.
I should have read closer attention to that.
No, you're good. So, start with Mace at the Jedi Temple, just talking about how they, I don't really believe them, but we're warriors now, like a general alongside, and they're just kind of arguing about that. It feels like, but they're like, no, we need to be peacekeepers, and this is helping us keep the peace. Blah blah blah.
You sound really jaded already, and we just got started here. Do you have some sort of bias towards this conversation and the things that the Jedi Council is talking about?
I mean, the Jedi are an evil as a whole. I mean, let's be honest. I mean,
so I wrote down a note that said Jedi Council sounds like Clone Wars TV show, where it's just every time they're in there, they're like, oh, we're blah blah blah. No, you can't do this and you can't do that, and This is we're gonna do this to punish people, and it sounds like every time they do a cutscene that's gonna start with the Jedi Council, it's just gonna be mashing of teeth, so to speak.
Yeah, I think this is I think it's funny that Mace Windu is a Jedi Master, but right in the one you have on the screen, it says Yoda says, "Indeed, we're diminished. Our numbers are. We all must take on the burden of leadership. Your mission we present to you now." I think it's kind of funny that they're like, "Oh, you're a Jedi Master, but we're going to give you missions." I feel like he would have some sort of role in that, but I don't know. So
I feel you. I noticed it felt a little out of place too.
Yeah. So they say, okay, the Separatist numbers grow. Power flows in concentric circles. Establish a foothold in the outer rim. So. And here's where I start to believe, right here, this scene, I feel like I start to believe, I don't know if I believe this. It says, one of the footholds appears to be the jungle planet
Hissrich.
A large number of Separatist vessels have made planetfall there in recent days. You will lead a small unit, okay, here we go, guys. You will lead a small unit to monitor the Separatist movement and determine what their purpose is. Okay, sounds innocent enough, but to take a small unit of Jedi, they said they don't want clones?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a Jedi Master mission, but okay.
Yeah.
So, as we move forward, then who do we see? Who do we see here on the next page? Right here.
Yeah. Fisto?
Yeah.
That was the only one I recognized.
Yeah, because I had seen him a ton in Clone Wars.
Sure. And then there's Preset. He's blind.
Yeah.
And then there's Rissa.
Who's a new Jedi Knight, right?
Who's a new Jedi Knight, yes. But an experienced mind for engineering. Far potential in battle, far exceeding someone of her age. So yeah, she's young.
And she has 2 holes in her head.
It looked like horns? Yeah, I never quite grasped what was going on there. Yeah, the holes.
Happening, so. And then this is another interesting deal. Yoda's like, you seem troubled.
Yeah.
You want to lighten your burden? He's like, these are troubling times. Doubt clouds my mind. Although I loathe to admit it. What are you doubting, buddy? And Yoda says to trust the Force. Don't doubt yourself. You're a wise and capable leader.
I also felt like Yoda needed to shave that day.
Yeah, what the heck? What's this guy doing? That's another off-brand Yoda right
there. that ain't Frank Oz's Yoda.
yeah. This isn't name brand cereal, guys. This is Cap Crunch. Anyway, trust the Force and trust yourself. Thank you, Master. I will not fail. So then they're traveling there. Let's see. So one slide down, I think Dibbs says, Prosed Dibbs says, there's nothing about this mission I'm looking forward to. The Force, it shudders. War is no place for a Jedi. And I thought that was pretty interesting, which is true. If the Jedi really are about peace, they shouldn't be in a war. Like, they should be trying to settle on both sides, but they clearly won't pick the side. I don't know.
Yeah, this started to get a little heavy-handed is, their doubt, and the content of the story here really starts to just weigh on, what they're doing, why they're doing it, what they're doing. Like you said, clouded doubt on Mace Windu's part. His vision was clouded.
Yeah. So then, they get off. They land. Yeah, just a lot of banter, but they land. And they say, and then Dib says, just a few later, he says on page 13. Dib says, I think this is Dibs talking. He says, Master Windu, before you say anything, I must apologize for earlier. I meant no disrespect. I've been told I have a great mind. My only downfall is I have the tendency to speak it. And he says, often out of turn. He says, yes, but those is what if you lend me an ear, I'm certain if I will get it back, but continue. And he says, I feel an unease in the Force. No, this is Prosed Dib saying, all of our teachings and beliefs are being tested. I find myself unsure of the steps in front of me. And he says, I sense you feel it as well. And he's like, oh, war breeds confusion. Mace just kind of blows him off, it feels like. Which I hated, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, yeah, Master Yoda tells us, okay, whatever, buddy. So, yeah, then they're like, all right, let's do this stealth mission. And then what happens next? What happens to their stealth mission?
Yeah, well, it doesn't last very long when you bust out your lightsaber.
It's so stupid. We've seen Jedi be stealthy, and literally Mace is like, oh, there's only a few, let's just take them real quick. What do you think your lightsabers aren't gonna... And look at the, go back, that one. Look at Mace's face. Okay, buddy, yeah, that's not stealth. That doesn't look stealth to me, it looks like a war cry. and what's her name? I don't even know the last girl. This girl is like, that's much for stealth.
Yeah, that's Dibs.
No, that Dibs is the blind guy.
Oh.
Prosed Dibs is the same person.
Prosed Dibs, you're right. This is Mono.
Yeah, and then they're just fighting droids. They destroy the machines. And they're making fun of Prosed for being blind.
Apparently he tells good jokes in the middle of battle.
Now, what did you think about this? Did you think the locals, one of these next ones, because they're like, oh, I sense this. Yeah, one of the next ones here is like, hey, I sense it's all around, right here, yeah. I sense it's all around us. Did you kind of, when they show that camera, did you think they're kind of invisible or something? Or they've got, what did you kind of think with that?
You know what? I didn't notice it before until you said that. But like you get this view of kind of like through the droid mask, and I guess you do get that because we have to remember that this planet only gives an hour's worth of sun per month.
A month.
A month. Yeah. So
yeah, I guess I don't know. It's kind of hard because I feel like it does just look like it just looks like nighttime or like a evening. But
so it ended up being the droid. It was the droid that was spotting them.
Yeah, it's much darker than now. Here, if you want to go back,
to
page 18, or go down one.
Yep.
One more. Right here, you see how dark it is?
Oh yeah.
Like on those two scenes there.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's supposed to look like, but from the content reasons, I think they're trying to give us a picture, so it's not just a black screen.
Yeah.
But I bet you it's that dark.
I would imagine that you're right, and the only thing that you get a sense of is with this shot is their lightsabers.
Yeah. Yep. So, and then there's a bunch of locals there. And then they're trying to get their commander, who doesn't want to be called commander, chief, skipper. I thought that was a funny interaction.
I did too. Like, quite frankly, the new droid ADWD 4. I couldn't resist.
ADW4, yeah. That's hilarious.
Wait, was it really ADW4 and not WD4?
Yeah. I think it's ADW4.
Gotcha. All right.
Just no zero.
Oh, it is W4. I'll be darned. I totally didn't see that. That's awesome.
So they say so then this is their commander, mercenary droid for hire.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, you're good.
He likes the credits.
Yeah, big credits. Yeah. And you do kind of get a fun snippet here later, so we'll get into that as well with him and how he got hired.
Yeah, I'm glad that they give you that here eventually.
Yeah.
Do you have anything through the scroll?
I didn't know. So then they go into this cave to follow these creatures. And then they see it's a system of caverns.
I think it's funny though because then now all of a sudden these creatures need to like have fire to light their way.
Yeah, they.
Oh no, sorry.
Where's the storytelling?
I know. Sorry, continuity. It just blew it for me.
So then they go into these caverns, and they see there's glowing plants that supply them with light and heat below ground. And because they only get 1 hour a month. There must be a way that this planet's surviving. And it's got a great ecosystem and all this.
Yeah, I thought it was neat. I felt like this was more lit up, energy based. Very like connected to the Force, so to speak.
Yeah, and you can see they've got little towns or whatever down there.
Yeah.
They don't really live on the surface. They live down there.
Yeah.
Because that's it. Yeah, right there. That's a kind of a cool view.
Yeah.
So then they're just talking here. They're wondering why the Separatists would be here.
Yeah, definitely trying to figure out like what in the world's going on because they don't get it. Like, what's the big deal about the planet, so to speak?
Yeah. So then they're just talking. They're like, I don't know. And then ADW4 is talking. And he's saying, I need. Let me see. Oh, where are they located? Yeah, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Just where they're located at.
Just tracking them down on the planet.
Yeah, and then there's like a explosion, you think, or like it's just an explosion. I was a little curious. It's like, yeah, it's just a little bit further.
Yeah, the ceiling starts crumbling in on them, and they realize that something must be happening on the surface because these must be the plants being ripped from the ground because they start to notice that energy store stuff being sucked up, into the ceiling, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a good call. So then droids come out. Yeah, you're right. So then there's a hole, and then the droids come down.
Yeah, because they tracked him down, and they busted out the destroyer droids, which it never, can the Jedi not use the Force through their Force shields?
They must not be able to. I've seen they can pick up the Force. I think I remember seeing they can pick up the shields, but they can't actually affect the droid inside.
Yeah, I gotta say, it always felt to me like the destroyer droids were a little overpowered, against the Jedi, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this is my favorite. So then Mace kind of going crazy. My favorite part's coming right up here. Right here. Right there. He goes, so we see ADW4, and he says, quite the impressive show of strength for a pacifist. Said, He said, but I must say, I'm pleased you do come as advertised. And then he's kind of saying, oh, here's who you are, I've studied you.
Oh, yeah. Very much so.
Yeah. So now, the thing he brings out, his weapon.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the page. Did you think it was the same type of weapon that, Grievous's bodyguards use,
I'm trying to get, and I saw it. It looked like a wand. It looks different because, generally you've got that orb on the end of each end.
On the ends, yeah. But
this one, almost looks electrified throughout the entire, unit itself.
It's almost like, what was the staff that Mando had? The Beskar. The Beskar staff almost.
That was my favorite weapon. I thought that was
too,
sweet.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like lightsabers can pretty much go through a bunch of stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, that was sad. I was sad when she melted that bad boy down.
Yeah, me too. Okay, and then this. So then ADW4 is kind of pushing Mace's buttons in their fight. And he's saying, I don't care about the Separatists or the Republic. I just grab my credits. And then this was my favorite part. He said, awfully confident in your abilities, Master Windu. And he said, the Jedi believe in a higher power. We fight for the greatest cause. This greater is. The greatest cause there is. And then, right here, the very next one. Peace throughout the galaxy! Can this not be a more show of strength? And he's like, peace!
And you know what? I will tell you what. This is on character for Mace Windu.
Very.
As far as the writer goes, he very much followed really what I would say was the Mace Windu character.
Yeah. Yep. So I just thought that was a funny snippet.
It starts to almost sound preachy because then W4 says, imposing your own moral compass on the galaxy is the height of arrogance. What is it that makes you compelled to cling to such asinine beliefs? Oh my gosh, dude, this is the preachiest droid ever.
I love it, though. He's just pushing his buttons.
Yeah, very much so.
Kind of a very Age of Ultron feel.
Yeah, that's a good one. Good call.
So what void are you trying to fill? What are you trying to run from? He's like, I fear nothing!
I run from nothing!
Arrogance.
Yeah.
And then he throws a big ball of droids at him. So funny.
I don't even know where it came from either. Where did the big ball of droid... Where was it?
I think that was the ball that Mace had just made earlier. If you go back to
I think you're
13.
Right. Right there. There it is, like on a hill.
Yeah, right
Hold
there.
Hold on. Yeah, right there.
It's a destroyer droids.
Yeah.
But then he just picks it up with one hand and then just says, boom, throws it at him.
I guess so. Okay.
So.
All right. He chucks it down. Yeah. That must mean Mace Windu's dead, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's toast.
Except they catch him 1 second later, and then the droids are like,
oh, no, I got you. We're good. Yeah.
So, and then they're like, all right, and then there's another explosion.
There's another explosion.
Falls into the
More
abyss.
plants are falling from the sky.
Look at this bottom right. Right there, that bottom right one.
What kind of droid is this?
But is that a bomb? Or what is that? Is that an eye? I thought it was an eye at first.
Okay. I took it as it was the eye from above when you look up in the hole.
Oh,
so it's hovering over the hole where they all flew in. And all they see from this perspective is this. So it's like a big giant droid sucking up energy.
Okay.
And that's where you learn that they're this is where you learn that they're harvesting the plants.
Yes. But what? For fuel? Food? Close. Energy.
Energy.
Now, how does Mace know that?
It does seem like he kind of knows what's going on.
Yeah. So then they're like, all right, let's destroy it. They do. Great action scenes. And then there's another kind of explosion on the surface, and it's almost going to kill some of the locals. And, Dib saves them. No more lives lost this day. Then the whole cave caves in. The whole cave caves in. Ooh. Then they're like, all right, we got to go find the main master. And they're like, oh, the hierarchy will die if we don't. And then you see, that's kind of a cool view of all those
of all
machines.
The plants harvesting the planet for the energy.
Yes. So then we move to 3. We're moving pretty quick because there wasn't these were good, but not like the best ones we've ever read. But we're really getting into the meat of it starting in 3.
Yeah. Yeah, this is neat. Like some time ago, you get the nice background where he sits down and you get a nice touch point with General Grievous. I like their banter back and forth because these are two very personality-driven, capable droids that there's more to them than the average droid.
Yeah. And it's funny how Grievous is like, or ADW4 is like, you want me to be a farmer? I've killed zillions of people, and you want me to be a farmer? And Grievous is like, trust me, that's going to probably draw some Jedi to where you are. And I'd love to be there myself, but sorry, I got to run an empire.
That summed it up.
Yeah. But it is cool because they are both alphas, and they're just like alpha droid. We know Grievous is technically not he's 90% droid, probably 80 or 95% droid.
Yeah,
has his brain and his face, his eyes, but
his heart.
Yeah,
he's got a heart.
And then he's like, "Oh, there's gonna be Jedi. Jedis aren't cheap. I hope you aren't either." And I was like, "Yeah." You'll get paid, buddy.
Yeah.
You want them dead too. So that was a cool because I feel like I would love more Grievous, and I didn't really search that close, but I know you said that you heard there might be some coming soon.
Did I? I don't remember that.
Oh, I thought you did. Yeah, I thought you said something about there might be some Grievous comics coming in the next few months, but we will see.
Yeah,
maybe not. We'll have to do more research. Then you're back with Ryza and Mace fighting off the droids. Okay. What did you take of this? Right after this,
where he takes her lightsaber out of her hand.
Correct. Does he like knock her out of the way, or does she? I don't really understand what's happening.
She's standing there. He goes up in the air with some force jump, and he snags her lightsaber. Like, I wrote it down and was like, Windu borrows Rissa's lightsaber? ? It's just weird.
Like, it just shows how arrogant Mace Windu is.
I would agree.
I don't believe you can do the job. Give me that. Like, she thinks she's getting, like, attacked, and it's like, he's ripping it out of her hand. Look at that. Look at Mace just...
Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you what. This is not the Mace Windu you saw at the end of Clone Wars, if I'm not mistaken, like Season 6, Season 7, where he goes and does that mission with...
Kenobi?
No, oh my gosh, the Gungan. Jar Jar. Yeah, when he does that like 2 or 3 episode run with Jar Jar, that was really good. And that Mace Windu learned that, like, you know, everyone has a place, you know, in the galaxy and within the Force.
And then here's the thing. Look at how stupid this is. Okay, so the very next... Look, she's got to get a gun. She's about to get shot. And she's got to get a gun now?
She's got to get a gun because he's left her defenseless.
Like, so dumb, dude. And she goes, blaster's not really my style. Allow me to return your true weapon to you. I'm like, Mace, F you, dude. Like, I'd be like, Mace, I'm done here.
I love how she has a name for her lightsaber. Marcy. This is where I got the impression that those are like horns coming out of her head.
Yeah, I don't really know. They look like pop sockets on the back of the phone.
I just felt bad because I didn't see holes, because, you know, holes, no, yeah, horns maybe.
So then they're like, we need to, you know, do whatever. And then Mace is like, yeah, Master Fisto and Dibs can take care of themselves, as they're stuck in a cavern. Like,
in the dark.
Okay. In the dark. And he goes, oh. And there's like, welcome to my life.
Can't see a thing. Welcome to my plight. Yeah.
So, and then, let's see. And then they run into this huge monster. Which I don't know how that thing survived in the cavern, but okay.
Sure. Hey, man, it's a big underground, you know.
Yeah. So I was thinking the rocks, they would be like trapped, and then they just start destroying stuff.
Yeah, they just start dicing it up into underground cavern sushi.
Yeah. And then I did think this was a little weird here. Then the very next scene, they're like, Grievous comes on, and then it's like, all right, are they, like, how are things going? Or like, all right, the first one went well. But they're like, I killed some of the Jedi. And I'm, like, surprised that he thinks that. Just because, like, I don't know. Like, he just flew off. Like, dude, you didn't do anything.
I know. I totally agree.
Mace is dead.
Yeah, I totally agree. Even he was arrogant, too, to just be like, Mace is dead.
And Grievous is like, what? How? Not surprised.
Yeah. How did he die? Mace Windu's dead. What? How do you think? You shouldn't be surprised. You know.
He goes, bring me the lightsabers.
Yeah, exactly.
And you will pay your due. And then he's like, oh, we don't have it. And the droid's like, we don't have any of the lightsabers. Like, yeah, they're not dead. And he loves killing the droids. I love that. Wait, real quick, if we want to go back, it's a meaningless part, but
what page?
For that 12.
Yeah.
And the droids, like, you know, they're like, I hope my droid army's like treating you well? And he's like, their battle prowess is laughable while their banter is. And then he's like, he's so mean to us, even meaner than you, General. All we want to do is give him a call sign and however, they do make excellent blaster fodder.
Yeah, that back and forth banter is fabulous there. It's good.
Yeah, hilarious. So, then he's like, all right, I'll find Mace is still chopping droids apart. Let's see. Lots of droids. Now they're up in the trees. And then they look at the slain monster, and Dibs. Let's see.
Underground sushi.
Yeah, and then Dibs is just like not, like all the life forms, like he's not feeling any.
Then they came across the cavern of the dead villagers. Perset was not happy. He's kind of overwhelmed here, and he starts to get overwhelmed by that death. I feel like.
Yeah, because Jedi are not used to like a ton of death, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, it clearly was weighing on Mace the Geonosis battle, but like he's like kind of like stuffing his feelings down. It feels like.
Yep.
And he's like, we were supposed to protect them. We did what we could, and then he's like, they should not have been put in this situation in the first place. Conflict extended its marvelous tendrils to a planet that had nothing to do with this war, and the people have paid the ultimate price. How is this us keeping the peace? How is this the Jedi fulfilling their duty? And they're like, they are always casualties in wars, unfortunate reality. Like Fisto doesn't even care, really. Like, we should just rejoin Mason. So, yeah, he is getting overwhelmed. And then, basically, somehow Fisto and Dibs get out super easy. They're like, no, hey.
Yeah, they just magically walk out of the cave. Okay.
Yeah.
And then this is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah. Take us through it.
Yeah, so glad to see you both back made it safely, not without trouble as well. You know, we have much to discuss. We have located the enemy stronghold. And then this is where it gets thrown down. You knew! Of course you knew! Perset, it seems you have something on your mind. I should hear you out. You've lied to us from the outset. The Council had no idea such a valuable energy source existed. You insult our intelligence and our integrity. Master Dibs, what are you saying? Of course the Council didn't know. We came here to stop the Separatists. So naive, young Jedi. Wake up, girl. The Council is using you. You're a pawn. No more than a clone in a Jedi attire. And look at this. Look at this Mace Windu somberness. He's so like. Yeah, and like. This is really the big giant debate. So, you know, like, is the Jedi the curse and the scourge, you know, across the galaxy right now? Is really what it's about, because like the clones are only doing so much, and they're all unique. You know, they're all little driving the forces and you know the planets and everything else, and really like. There's not a lot of bad guys around other than those clones, or I mean, other than, you know, droids and everything else. And the ones, you know, maybe potentially killing people are the Jedi.
Yeah.
Or at least their actions or the war in general. Like, no one was happy that all of a sudden they were thrust into generalness.
Yeah. Well, Rust, I feel like, is I feel like they were like, can you help us? And they're like, ooh, we'll be generals. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think it's a mix, which is what we kind of find out here, that, like, Mace has always had, like, a lust for power, like, power and abilities. So, Yeah, if you want to keep reading this is another great, really good. I know it's a lot, but it's a really good.
I never agreed with the Jedi role in this war. It never aligned with my views on the doctrine. And now I understand why I was so well at ease. The Council hides behind the veil of a war. A false purpose, but we are here for the very same reason as the Confederacy. A power grab. A way to win a war we have no reason to be in. To advance the Council's own twisted agenda under the guise of doing what's right. Coming to this planet, tossing away the lives of its people as collateral damage. You are no better than the Separatists. You are no different than the Separatists. Corruption is the calling card. Death is the legacy. You fight for peace? You fight for the galaxy? No. You fight for yourself. You have perverted the very teachings of the Jedi Order. Man.
Big time. I mean,
are you finished? Like that's a good response to all that.
And then what's the very next?
And then he jacks him with a left cross.
So you deny my accusations then?
I do not even entertain them. You are frustrated. We all are. But I advise you to remember your place. I'm not just a council member of the Jedi Council. I'm your Jedi in battle, general in battle.
General. You see, that right there showed me, oh, so you care more about being a general at this point.
That's a good point. I like it.
Like, we're just supposed to be Jedi. And I know you're a general to freaking clones, but you're a master, but you're not a general here. Like, that was just a pretty, damning comment as far as...
That's good. That's a good point. That's a good call, man. That's a good catch.
And then Mace, James is like, your mockery is only further evidence that you have no place as a leader in any capacity. I'll put an end to your deception. Now, I will say he's probably a little extreme. He's saying, I felt uneasy about going on these missions in general, and we come and we're causing havoc. I mean... They said, let's do a stealth mission, and then you kill a droid brigade, and then it's like all hell's breaking loose. So, I don't know. I get it, they're trying, but then we find out that they knew the power source. Mace is playing dumb because they did know.
Yeah.
They weren't there to,
It was a deception. It was a deception. Yeah. If they had just been honest up front, hey, we know that they're doing this shady stuff, we might need to put an end to it, potentially.
Yeah. So, and then Mace is like, I failed you. You strayed too far from the path. I'm like, what are you talking about? A mindless robot?
I read the Grand Inquisitions, and I had visions that was going to maybe go somewhere else, and it didn't go there.
Yeah. So let's find out who's right. And then Mace is like, yeah, we should battle. Okay.
See, and I love the panel by panel in this regard, where you can do the read, and then you can get the zoom out. Marvel did an amazing job. The way they have the play-by-play on the panel reading going, it's on point.
Yeah.
I love it.
So then we cut into a flashback, but this is in purple, which I think is funny because it's like Mace's lightsaber. His lightsaber color, which I think is funny. I didn't realize that at first, but now I'm like, oh yeah,
that's good.
Hilarious.
Good call.
So, they cut to at first we're like, what is happening? We're kind of changing gears here. They say there was a Jedi, but then he's dead or gone, and there's somebody else that's corrupt in there. And then you cut to a Mace Windu, right here, and they're like, are you ready, Mace? And he's like, I'm ready, Master. Because we had no context of who his master was. Or I love the hair there. It's so funny, and a young Mace. Just so funny.
Oh, I wasn't flipping. There we go, right here. Yeah, right I got you. Sorry, I wasn't in the right place.
I just had I thought that was kind of cool. That was just a brief thing. I was like, oh, a little background on Mace Windu.
Yeah. Agreed.
And then it cuts right back to the present, And then he says, then may the Force be with us. I kind of like that. Proset says that. He's like, you're going to throw it all away? And they're like, dude, I'm not. Like, all I throw away is a Jedi Council that has turned its back on its teaching. This is not our true way. We cannot change our ideology of our fit your whims. I love that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to... We've had Jedi teaching since whatever it was, the Old Republic.
Yeah.
Like, years and years and years, and we're just like, you're right, because there's a war, we're going to join one side. They're supposed to be neutral, really.
And they say it all the time, too. Like, anytime there's a discussion on it, there's always kind of, like, one person. Through the whole entire, like, Clone Wars TV show and the comics, apparently, there's always a debate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, even if the episode's not, like, centered around that, it's still a component that's within that entire time frame, you know, of the Clone Wars in general.
Yeah. And then I like that one. He says, "War for the sake of peace, were I only so gullible." And then what does it say? It's the opinion. It's your opinion. And then I love this. We do not train with lightsabers for them to simply adorn our waists. Such is the will of the Force. And he says, "You know nothing of the Force."
I remember the line. I'm just trying to find it.
That's
yeah, we do not train with lightsabers for them to simply adorn our waists. Such is the will of the Force. You know nothing of the Force.
Because I sense your distress, right? Dude, Fisto is just like, we don't care. Trust Master Windu. I'm like, what's his name? I think, what is the other guy? I mean, aren't they Jedi Masters?
I got the impression, though, even though that, you know, Rissa was new, she was also a new master.
No, I think they said she was a Jedi Knight.
Got it. Okay.
We can jump to the, well, no, we don't have to, but, when they introduced everyone in the first comic.
You're right. Yeah, good call.
I think they said that she's a new Jedi Knight, but I could be wrong. Because what's it go? Padawan, Jedi?
And then Master. Yeah. We kind of lost you for a second, buddy. Your headphones kind of went whoop.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you. You're good.
Okay.
Sweet.
I don't know, because I can always hear you. I don't know.
No problem.
I don't know why.
Every now and then that microphone, that Apple mic, doesn't pick up. But then she goes on a little diatribe about how we're supposed to be leaders and role models. You know, this feels very Ahsoka, you know, where she says, this is what we're supposed to be doing.
Very much so.
You know,
very much so.
And you know what? I always liked where it went after Ahsoka went with it. I gotta say it, like, I love how they split her character down the middle, you know, to be completely neutral. Because, doggone it, she definitely crossed that line a lot with Anakin, you know.
Yeah.
She was definitely, she felt both sides of this, you know. I don't know, being the Jedi Council being evil and, like, wanting to do what was right versus what the Jedi Council wanted. I mean,
yeah,
always was very strong-willed and independent of what her own sense of justice was, and really stayed true to that as a character.
Yeah. And then, yeah, he's like, it pains me to see a fellow Jedi respect. Oh, it's such confusion. It's like, actually, they were tricking you. I don't...
Yeah. The case isn't very strong when you start to, like, break it down.
Yeah. So then they cut back to the flashback. And you see the trickery Master Drews. And, you know, they're like, you're stealing from these people. You're doing all this crazy. They make them look crazy. Yeah, all this stuff, yeah. You're heretics.
The accusations The temple is no longer under the appointment of the unfaithful Master Velez. He has vacated this temple, this planet, and his people. There's only one Jedi Master of Mathis. Me.
So then, then they're kind of like, your reign of terror is over. And then he killed them in the name of the Force. I was like, oh my God. There's no way that people can think this guy's real.
Yeah. You cannot kill our master. He's going to save my baby. He's going to save us all.
So then, what's his name tries to throw a bomb here, I think another page here.
Yeah, the detonator.
Right there, yeah. Tries to throw a bomb, or does throw a bomb. And you see the real Jedi Master save the people. Right there. They're about to burn up, and they're like, don't let Drews escape. I will save these people. I told you, Padawan. Go! And then they cut back to real time. Just with truth. Lies.
The Jedi Order exists to keep the resultant malevolence away from the people, to protect them. Peace above all else. That is the axiom. Always. There are no gray areas. We cannot afford them. That is where men set their own terms, and that is where true wickedness festers.
Except he's lying there because you have to operate in the gray. Right now they're in the gray.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're in the gray with this whole mission.
Yeah, it's
very
black and white thinking.
Like, you don't sway me. This is where I cut my ties. I forged my own path from this moment forth. No longer will I serve the name of a council that only serves itself. Boom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A definite mic drop.
Dude, and then he's like, oh, desertion then, if you turn your back and run. And then, then we find the line. But they cut back to the flashback. He kind of beats the crap out of them easy.
Takes them all out.
And then Mace kind of whacks him, and then he's like, I will make sure you never hurt another soul again, I vow, as a true Jedi. And he kind of has a flashback again, right after this, right here.
As a true Jedi.
And then right there.
Yeah,
Mace.
He gets called out from his flashback calls him out. What have I told you? This is not the way. Because he's about to slice the head off.
Did that feel like Anakin Obi-Wan a little bit?
Very much so. Yeah.
And
he's taken everything we cherish, everything that we are, and spun it into a web of lies and deceit for profit. He must not atone for this. He must atone for this. And he will, but not by your hands, Anakin. Not like this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I literally wrote down, I said, Razy has some Anakin in him.
Yeah. I understand your frustrations, but we have to be better than our adversaries.
And then they're like, he will bring him before a court of law to decide his fate, and see Mace is raging.
Yeah.
And the Mace remembers that and says, oh, we'll bring him before the Jedi Council to decide his fate. And he pistol whips him. But with a lightsaber.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
And they bind him in a straitjacket.
Oh yeah.
And then Mace goes, with no more distractions, we will turn our attention back to the task at hand. I'm like, so dumb. Mace just is the worst. So, yeah. You kind of speed through a lot of this. And then they kind of find this. And then Mace, or Fisto, raids them. And we move on to the next issue. The last issue. Um, and then Fisto's going kind of nuts on them.
Being the hold on, being the not the guinea pig, the magnet.
The distraction.
The distraction.
And then Mace sneaks in there, and he's about to fight him again. Yeah, it's alright. Just kind of skip through all that.
Yep.
This ends now. Oh my gosh! And I really love all this banter right here.
Yeah, perhaps I am force sensitive myself. That was my favorite line from the droid.
Yeah, let me see. What page? I'm on page 6. And he says, I know you, Master Windu. I see inside your very being. It says, you like being a general, a weapon. It gives you an outlet for all your anger. I was like, oh. So good.
Yeah.
And an excuse for your violence. You're a hypocrite. Perhaps I am force sensitive myself. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I like that line too.
That's good.
I love how he's getting in his head, you know.
So much
and
so.
Mace just like, ah! And then stabs him. Do not mock me, nor underestimate that which you not understand. And then he's like, and then Fisto's about to die. And here comes the girl to save him. And then they're like, oh, look, I already sent the transport. And then he's like, we already bombed it. And then he's like, you will pay for the price for choosing the wrong side. And then I love his head pops out. And then Mace just goes, ooh.
Oh, in the last one. Yeah. Like, the second he popped the head. Where was that? There it is.
Oh, you're there. Yeah, 13. Yeah. That's an Anakin thing, too. Like, you never see them, like, crushing anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Then that's the end. That's a kind of, it's not like a crazy, awesome story, but.
Well, let's be honest. The droid never stands a chance against the Jedi.
Yeah, almost never, except unless you're named Grievous for a while.
Yeah, but that always was like, they're always going to fight and then run off on each other.
Yeah. And they're back at the council meeting, and they're like, okay, as a follow-up to your report, we will be sending the troops to Hizrich for cleanup, dealing with any remaining droid forces, as well as aiding the indigenous people with the replanting and reconstruction efforts of the planet. And then Yoda, Snake, says, samples of the flora we have taken as well. Study its properties we shall. Of course you will. And I love that. He goes, and now for the matter at hand. Proset Dibs, heard Master Windu's account. You have charges against you. You understand. And he says, I understand your need to quell a dissenting opinion. Just so good. They're like, mind your tongue. You're standing accused of attacking a Jedi master, a general in the army of the Republic. Heresy and insubordination. Here's another nugget.
Yeah.
That he says, not only a master, but a general in the army. Like,
yeah.
You think you're so cool, don't you? You think you're so sweet. Like, I don't know. What defense? And then, if you want to pick up here, all this was very good.
I have nothing to answer for. I have done nothing wrong. It is you, Master, self-proclaimed arbiters of the Force, who owe an explanation. You who would, under the guise of the army of the Republic, bastardize the very teachings that I hold dear. You sit on your thrones of deception, giving orders to those under your tutelage for your own means. It is not lost on me that a blind man is the only one who can see your true nature. I have spoken my piece. I have cut my ties. There is no defense I can give. You will do with me what you will. It is expected. It is to be expected of tyrants. I thought it was a good speech. Yeah, they don't.
I thought that too.
Yeah, they're not pleased.
You hear Mace go, and there's very clear ordinances for such actions. Death. If found guilty of insubordination and treason, your punishment shall now be decided. Do not insult me with false deliberations. Are you not soldiers now? Oh, that was a bone crushing. Are you not soldiers now? Like, I think it's right before that.
Yeah, right
there. Are you not soldiers now? Like, I don't know. I really like that because they're like, a reminder, he's actually a general now. Like, dude, nobody cares about that.
Yeah, it is the Jedi Council, not the General Council.
Right. And then he's like, Mace gives him some pity, like, oh no, he's a victim. He's confused and angry. We should bring him back into the light. Oh my gosh, that feels like get his inhibitor chip checked again. I'm just kidding. Do not patronize me. He's like, kill me. Prove to me that you are what I know you to be. Like, oh, you're like military generals now. Just kill me.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to have him work at the library. Perhaps he will learn something that somewhere along his journey he has seemed to have forgotten.
I think it's easy to sit down at the Jedi Council and be pious.
Yeah. But then he's just yelling at him. He says, please reason, I do not need another Jedi questioning my methodology. That's not what I meant. And he's like, that was a joke, Rissa. I happen to be very funny. What the heck up, dude?
Yeah. Yeah, I was done with Mace Windu by about that point. In all seriousness, we cannot afford to lose a talent such as Prosette. The Jedi face our greatest challenge yet. What was your take here in the end about his feelings, though misguided or understandable? I pray he will come around in time, and we will need his aid to face what's coming. What's coming, Master? Hardship, trials like we've never faced before. I yearn for a quick and peaceful end to this war, and I fear that may not be attainable just yet.
That's Ahsoka, Ventress, Yoda, Grievous, and Padme, maybe?
I felt that way too. She always had a blaster, so I'm down.
Yeah, and he says, what do we do now? What do we do? Trust in the Force. Believe in the path that's set before us. Stand in defense of people, not only of the Republic, but across the galaxy. We do what any Jedi would have when staring in the face of we fight. It's like, actually, no, you're supposed to be peacekeepers, not generals.
Yeah. It was such a dichotomy between that, and it just, I don't know, I'll call it like it got wrapped up in the debate between that point, which, the politics of the Jedi.
Yeah. I just am like, the council knew, they're like, oh, we want you to monitor. No, you wanted that source of energy for yourself. I tend to agree with most of what Dibbs was saying. Like, my methods, like, the teachings I've been taught are like, we're not supposed to be on either side. We're supposed to be, we're fighting. We're supposed to be peacekeepers, but this is just outside of the Jedi. Yep. Violence plus violence doesn't equal violence. It just equals more violence. So, like, if you're peacekeepers, I don't know. They should be on diplomatic meetings. And I think for a while they were. Like, before the war, I feel like they were. Like, they were being sent on, like, diplomatic meetings with senators and, like, whether they were bodyguards.
Well, I mean, look at the start of Phantom Menace, when they're
Qui-Gon
just sitting in there, Qui-Gon, he's like, be patient, young one, and, he's like, we just sit and wait, and even Obi-Wan's like, what, I I want to fight somebody.
Right. I just think they're so arrogant, like, and a bunch of the masters were like, yeah, I'm willing to fight. I'm willing to do this and this and this. And that was so easy for Palpatine to control. So very easy for him to just be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was very much puppet master, in that era, just kind of letting them bicker and fight amongst themselves.
Yeah, and then, no surprise, he stretched them thin, fighting battles that didn't matter across the galaxy. Easy for them to be picked apart. So, obviously, and if it's like this council was so great, they wouldn't have gotten tricked with a Sith Lord, literally them almost answering to a Sith Lord. How funny is it too? I didn't bring it up until we finished.
Yeah.
That Anakin was like, no, he needs to stand trial. Palpatine.
Yep.
And Mace is like, he's too powerful. We're just gonna kill him.
Yep.
Like, you didn't remember this.
Yep. Anakin did try
these
that.
Two situations either.
Yeah.
And Anakin was going off the teaching as a Jedi. Like, we're just gonna. And Anakin cut off Mace's arm in defense of, like, he should be captured. But then obviously, Palpatine electrocuted him, and then was like,
yeah,
that was it, So
yeah,
it just goes to show what the council is just corrupt, and there are good members. I mean, like, but here's the thing: Qui-Gon was never a council member because he didn't agree with them. Like, and Qui-Gon went down as one of probably the best Jedi's ever. So
yeah, that's a good point. You know
what I mean? Like,
that's and you forget about that banter at the start of Phantom Menace where they're talking about that very topic.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, he's like he's stepping. They're stepping through the woods and Jar Jar's with him, and that conversation actually is kind of important to that point. So.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me of that. Good call.
Yeah. Yeah. No problem. Yeah, I'm just was so frustrated, like, even with the whole Anakin thing. I know it would just keep drawing it back to him, but, like, he was led on the council, but not as a master, like,
to spy on Palpatine.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Yeah,
like, they always have ulterior motives.
Yeah, I mean, I googled. If you Google, War of Jedi, and there was some interesting articles there. I don't want to like steal anyone's points. There was something about how the Jedi take people from families, and just how they oppress the Jedi and their families and whatnot. But like, there's tons of things where if you look at that and you get those perspectives, like a lot of those articles actually did a lot better than my opinion. But like, you get that overall perspective of all of the things that the Jedi just kind of did maybe the wrong way, and it really puts a real tone against them as opposed to being the saviors or the peacekeepers of the universe.
Yeah, I really do think the Jedi teachings are good. It just they were taken like to extreme. Like, as far as times were changing, young Jedis need, like, here's the thing. They're taught, okay, we're taking you away from your family at a young age, and we're going to train you to be neutral, to not have too much emotion, to not care. They're supposed to care for others. Like, I think Anakin has a good quote in there that says, we're taught to, like, be neutral, but, like, we're supposed to care for people too. And it's, like, interesting. And I just don't think, and even look at the end of 9 with Rey. Rey used all of the Jedi and all her, relationships with Leia and Kylo and all these, and the droids to, like, that love help defeat the Sith. Not, you're right, I'm neutral, or like I have no attachment and no whatever. Just was kind, I don't know, just kind of an interesting way how things developed. Because Qui-Gon was willing to break the rules for Anakin,
Because he was too old.
He's like, I'll train him myself. No deal. No big deal. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah, that more life happens in the gray.
Yeah, no, and Mace is like, no, it's black and white.
Yeah.
It's not actually, but
so
very not, especially if you're supposed to be a neutral Jedi. But
so I have to say, I flipped to this, page, this last page, the next issue of Thrawn, and I was like, what? I totally, just because of this panel right here, I totally want to go find what this is talking about and look at that for our next podcast.
Yeah, like, is this a young Thrawn or what's the deal?
I don't know.
It's got 6 issues, and they ran from 2018 to...
Oh, wow.
Oh, sorry. All of 2018. February, March, April, May, June, July 2018.
Okay.
So that might be a fun one to jump into.
Yeah, that sounds like wheelhouse. I don't know why. Maybe the other timeline page doesn't, cover that fact. I'm totally down with some Thrawn comics next time around. So.
Yeah, we'll have to see though if it's canon. We want to do it, but if not, we might hold off. So.
Yeah, I would say a 2018 is probably is probably canon and doesn't linger into Legends, but. Maybe that's your reason. Maybe that's a good reason why. Although that Mace Windu we read was canon, so generally they don't reference non-canon, issues. So.
Right.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
We'll probably be doing that. Well, thank you again, sir, for being here.
Yeah, no problem. This has been good so far. Just let us know. You can contact us at that email. Let us know which ones you want to see next. We'll probably keep going with the light, dark as much as we can. So, all right. Well, it was good. Another good one. So, thanks for joining us. And what's our tagline?
I think it has to be "May the Force be with you."
Yeah, may the Force be with you.
All right.
All right. I'll see you.
See ya, man.